Is Hearthstone casual gaming? January 2019. Developed and published by Blizzard, Hearthstone is an online collectible card game based on the World of Warcraft universe, in which you battle it out with 9 classes of hero and a deck of cards to defeat your enemy. Released in 2014 and with plenty of support and expansions, Hearthstone is a game easy to get into, colourful graphics and relatively simple mechanics at its core. It's popular enough that it is well established in the esports scene and a massive following on streams. This in turn has evolved Hearthstone into a lot more complex title that requires skill and patience to maintain, despite its rather simple premise. But is it for the casual gamer? The concept of Hearthstone was conceived back in 2008. Blizzard were looking at smaller development teams to find and develop new concepts due to the rise in popularity of indie companies developing top quality games. This concept created Team 5, a small group of 15 general programmers to develop prototypes that could be worked on. Originally called Warcraft Legends, the game idea settled on a collectible card game concept very early on. Considering a lot of the teams are from World of Warcraft, the idea was to use the IP in a bit more fun and whimsical way. However, deadlines for StarCraft 2 reduced the team to 2 people, Eric Dodds and Ben Brode. But with just 2 people, they were able to go through design decisions, prototype and build iterations over that year, even building a prototype of the Hearthstone core on Adobe Flash from pen and paper. However, there was a need to convince the studio that this was a good idea. So when the team was reunited, the focus was to get to work on the main build. Internal testing was rolled out to the Blizzard employees, which allayed concerns of the studio that Hearthstone would be fun and engaging.
We started to have ideas that it might happen because we were playing the game at our desks and anybody who walked by would just stop and watch the rest of the game. And then we did an internal tournament across the whole company, and there was too many people interested in watching. We had to go do some overflow areas for them to watch in different conference rooms.
Hearthstone was first announced at PAX on March 22, 2013, with a release date for later that year. The response from the community was roughly the same as Blizzard's as to whether a card game would be viable. But the team was ready for this, and the playable alpha was available to show consumers the game itself. The closed beta became available August 26, 2013. After significant changes over the course of the beta, excitement started building in the community that Hearthstone was engaging and would be popular. The game entered open beta on January 21, 2014. Hearthstone was officially released March 11, 2014.
Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
Initial reviews for the game were extremely positive, with reviewers citing the clean style, attention to detail, addictive gameplay, engaging formats, and easy to get into being free to play. Hearthstone was criticised for the lack of trading options, however. The community at large were equal in its praise, and the population exploded to over 10 million registered accounts within the first few months. As of 2019, Hearthstone is still incredibly popular, with Blizzard announcing Hearthstone had hit 100 million player accounts in 2018. Hearthstone is highly rated and watched on Twitch and YouTube streams as well. Hearthstone has had 14 expansions that have added new cards and new mechanics to the game. Initial expansions were mixed between expansions and adventures. Expansions were sets of cards available upon release that could be collected. Adventures were story missions that rewarded players with cards over the course of the adventure. Adventures were discontinued, and the expansions contained a single-player set of challenges with a card back for a reward. What is great about Hearthstone is that there's always something happening within the game world. New sets and mechanics come alive, the developers are always communicating with the player base as to what is coming up, and providing proper information on changes to give the community time to respond and offer feedback. Hearthstone is exceptionally easy to run and has clients for PC, Mac and tablets. Run and managed through the Blizzard app, there are no real dedicated graphics required here. The tablet version can be a bit clunky at times, but the look and feel is the same. Gameplay consists of playing a match with cards in your collection against other opponents. There is a tutorial at the start after installing the game that will guide you through how to play and initially set you up with the basic cards. A match consists of selecting one of your decks that uses one of the 9 class heroes that allows you to play cards related to that class and use the unique hero power. At each start of your turn, you will be given a mana crystal, which are used to play cards that either match the number of crystals or of a lower cost, so you can play multiple cards in a turn. Cards can be a multitude of things, but the basics are spells, creatures and weapons. The abilities of these are printed on the cards, and there are certain key words that provide timing and effects of those cards. The ultimate goal of the game is to defeat your opponent predominantly by reducing their life total to 0 at some point during the turn. You do this by using creatures to attack your opponent's creatures, attacking the opponent directly, or even depriving them of cards so they start taking increasing damage per card drawn. The game is bright and whimsical and clearly laid out. The interface is clean and you generally know what has happened in the turn and how things played out with spells or effects used, with some great effects with some of the spells on the table itself. Being turn-based, you do have a time limit to take your turn. You have to determine how to play your cards efficiently, how to deal with your opponent's cards, and what to anticipate your opponent will do. That is the strategy to this game. Most matches will last around 10 minutes a match, and the queue times for matches are extremely quick, so you can get quite a few matches in within an hour to feel satisfied with a session. There are 5 game modes and 2 formats in Hearthstone. Standard format applies to all cards and expansions that were released in the last 2 years, so in April each year up to 3 sets are rotated out of standard format and into wild. Wild format are all cards that have been released in all expansions across Hearthstone. Casual and ranked play are games where you bring a deck that you have constructed with your collection and play against other live opponents. Casual play and ranked play are different only in the way that wins and losses will directly affect your ranking, which is applied monthly. There are 25 ranks to work through to rank 1, and then the legendary ranks on top, so there is something to really strive for. Okay, ranks have literally changed in between doing this discussion. We now have 50 ranks, from rank 50 to 16 at 3 stars per rank, rank 15 to 11 at 4 stars per rank, and then rank 10 to 1 at 5 stars per rank. So you now have 50 ranks to climb. Then you have the legendaries. Hearthstone states that they try to match opponents of the same rank and skill, but otherwise no decks are restricted except for their format. Solo adventures are single player missions based on various expansions that players can complete adventures and challenges that offer various rewards. The arena is draft format, and that players pay resources to enter a best of 12 match, where after selecting a hero, you get a choice of 3 cards to select one, until the player constructs a full deck of 30 cards. This deck is then used to play as long as possible until 3 losses, with increasing rewards for each win. The economy in Hearthstone is broken down into mainly 2 types of currency, gold and dust. Gold is the in-game currency that is used to purchase card packs and tickets to the arena. They also used to be able to purchase adventure wings. Gold is earned through daily quests, rewards through the arena, end-of-month ranked rewards, and winning games. Card packs cost 100 gold and contain 5 randomly generated cards out of the expansion you buy from, with different rarities, so it costs about 20 gold for a card. Most expansions are 150 cards, and then there are the gold or foil versions of the same card, and only the legendaries do not have a chance of replicating in the same pack. To counter this, there is dust. Dust is the currency used in crafting cards that you can use in your collection. This is earned through arena rewards, end-of-month chests, and dusting unused or duplicate cards. So the provision is you can create cards you want for your deck with dust, but the return rate for dusting cards is abhorrent. Considering dusting a common card is 5 dust, but to craft a common card is 40 dust, it is going to take a long time to craft the cards that you need. There are also other cosmetic rewards like card packs or hero portraits, which some can be earned, but most are purchased. So there is strong incentive to purchase card packs with real money, but then it's random again. To their credit, Blizzard are generous with classic card packs, and there are regular events that bump up gold and recently quests that could be completed against your friends, so you can totally throw that match against each other. Hearthstone's popularity is now so that it's considered an esport, and in turn substantial pro circuit and prize pools are offered, even by Blizzard themselves. With a massive following on streaming services and video sites, people can actually make good income playing Hearthstone. Countless websites provide information, statistics and changes to the meta that are all over the web, and it's great to see the fan base so excited for the game. Any casual gamer always needs to be aware that when a game involves monetary compensation, this will bring out the professionals and those that want to be professional, and the toxicity in the community will be there. And just one bit of advice: if you win a game and you immediately get a friend request, just wait a day or two, because they're not out to congratulate you. This is not to say that Hearthstone cannot be enjoyed casually at all, but playing any game that has financial remuneration to it, there are some issues to be aware of. Hearthstone changes substantially every few months, as with all collectible card games. To keep the game and the meta fresh, new cards are generated and old ones are cycled out. The deck you put together that you feel was good enough will be hopelessly outclassed within a few months. This is a bit of a problem if you're not playing regularly and you don't get the gold rewards and keeping up to date with expansions and new mechanics. I also need to talk about something called meta. In gaming, meta describes the most efficient or effective tactics available to achieve the goal of a game. So meta in Hearthstone would be the most efficient and effective deck to climb the ranks and defeat opponents. The antithesis would be the players finding a counter to the meta deck to defeat it, which is the basic aspect of military warfare. There is no ultimate deck to beat in Hearthstone, but there are quite a few good decks that then in turn make the meta. Also, as a natural product of card games, cards have been made over time that can be exploited or are considered overpowered, which changes the meta to that deck type, and then conversely other players are building decks to counter that meta. The issues you are going to find starting out or playing casually is that the meta can stagnate for up to months, but then can change almost daily while classes jockey for position. Buffs and nerfs to cards are also applied sporadically to try and balance cards. But if you want to climb the ranks, you need to be reviewing the meta and what people are talking about, even if it's just to get casual wins. Also, be aware matches take a win-loss situation, and Hearthstone is cutthroat in that accord. You can play 10 matches and could be either 70-30, 50-50 or 90-10 loss, which obviously affects your rank. So you can find yourself hoping for that win streak that can boost your rank to counter the losses, but losing streaks can completely decimate your morale. This is encouraged by Blizzard. Most of the time you can fault yourself, but then there's one mechanic Hearthstone revels in. RNG in Hearthstone is where a card performs a mechanic, where it randomly assigns another card or ability, or gets you to choose from a set of cards to complete the action. This is independent from drawing your cards from the deck you constructed, which is a type of RNG in itself, but you should be constructing a deck with draw ability to mitigate this issue. Being an electronic card game, Hearthstone can use this mechanic unlike other card games or formats. Blizzard, for their part, introduced RNG as their fun element, which can change the nature of the game, and sometimes it does make for amazing plays. But with virtually no recourse to respond to a player when they're making their turn, some deaths feel extremely cheap.
My hand is too full. The beasts obey me.
come on!
Kids, won't you step outside for a second?
Smart moves. I concede.
Even though being free to play, Hearthstone has a certain pay to win aspect because paying for the card pack bundles does earn advantages such as random lucky cards or the ability to dust those duplicates and unwanted cards for the cards that you want in your deck. You can get to Legend while doing free to play with building something like a mid-range hunter, but that will sacrifice a substantial amount of time and research into making such a deck and hoping your variants can push you up the ranks taking into account the RNG of the game. So, is this a game for the casual player? This is a decision. I play casually. I log on almost every day, check my quests and run them down if I have to. I have friends and family to help those quests if I need to. I'll work my 5 wins over the month to get my chest at the end of the month for that card back that I almost never use. I build up my gold reserves and check out every expansion. I play every Tavern Brawl because it's a free card pack, so why not? This is my decision. If I wanted to go any further, grinding the ranks up to rank 1 and Legend beyond, then I would have to understand the time sink. Pros will generally play 100 to 150 matches to get to Legend from wherever their rank is, despite the variance. Streamers are looking at 5 to 6 hours of games a day, and not only in playing the game, but studying the game and reviewing the meta, and most of all, spending the cash to buy the cards and dust you need to adjust to both. There is real money and rewards in both Pro Tour and streaming for doing such things, but then it's way beyond casual. And yeah, the game stops becoming fun. It becomes like a job like any other profession. Your patience will be tested, even as a casual player, and that bar is what kills most interest in the game. You can play a basic deck like mid-range hunter to rank 1. It's not impossible, but time will always be the factor. But Hearthstone is unique in that it's such a simple, fun game that gives you such genuine moments that are fun and engaging to experience and to watch. Oh, do I polymorph on here? Shit.
Reporting for duty.
God damn it. Didn't think.
Thank you. Your win. I concede.
I didn't even see it. I didn't see it. That was fantastic. There are pay-to-win aspects of Hearthstone, and in the end you do have to make the decision to keep it fun or to move up to the next level, and there are incentives to do so. I made my decision, and as a casual gamer I hope you can too, because despite being a casual game, this will not be a game for casuals. Find the fun, because Hearthstone has plenty of it.
Hearthstone